sick.
There is no terrible way to win. There is only winning.
We won't be out long.
Take your time. Track's all yours.
You ready? The name on the middle of that steering wheel should tell you that I was born ready. Hit it. Attaboy.
Let me drive. I won't make a fool out of you.
I got a message for all of them. Shake and bake.
What does that do? Does that blow your mind?
That just happened.
These cars, you sit in a box, a coffin, gasoline all around you. It is like being inside a bomb.
It's tough enough being a girl on the track. Living in my dad's shadow doesn't help much.
You have to be kind to the car. You feel the poor thing groaning underneath you.
No race was ever won in the first corner.
I'm gonna give you an engine low to the ground, extra big oil pan that'll cut the wind from underneath you. That'll give you 30 to 40 more horsepower.
Every one of us has to find a reason to do this. You do it because you're driven.
Brakes are warm. Tires are warm.
I'll work in the cars and I'll drive and I'll eat and sleep and I'll work in the cars and I'll drive.
Damn fast, and when you run so close together, it requires fantastic concentration and rather special skills.
I was beginning to think I'd never be anything more than a piston-happy lead-foot punk. Then this starts to happen.
If you're going to push a piece of machinery to the limit and expect it to hold together, you have to have some sense of where that limit is.
Besides, the best drivers don't dwell on the future or the past. The best drivers focus only on the present.
They could never have imagined it. Those pioneers who invented the automobile, that it would possess us like this in our imaginations, our dreams.
I'm gonna give you a fuel line that will hold an extra gallon of gas. I'm gonna shave half an inch off you and shape you like a bullet.
Somebody put it in your mind you gotta be perfect every time out or you're a failure. Well, forget that. Just forget it.
Racing is in my blood.
I was put on this earth to race cars.
I accept every time I get in my car. There's 20% chance I could die, and I can live with it, but not 1% more.
No, Nicky, don't bring the percentages into this. Don't be a pro. The minute you do that, you kill what's good about this. You kill the sport.
And at that speed, your reactions can barely keep up with these sudden changes in direction.
You ready to put away your toys and grow up?
You want me to work the pit and you drive? Fine, we'll try that.
The car's a living, breathing thing, and she's alive.
If any of us imagined, really imagined, what it would be like to go into a tree at 150 miles an hour, we would probably never get into the cars at all. None of us.
Are you ready to become a real race car driver?
I am just as good as anybody out there on that track, and I don't need anybody to win my races for me.
I wish my daddy were alive to see this, to feel this.
And when we get you primed, painted, and weighed, you'll be ready to go out on that racetrack. You hear me? You're gonna be perfect.
You don't understand what happens, do you? They make 10,000 cars, they make them exactly the same way, and one or two of them turn out to be something special. Nobody knows why.
When I won it was probably the last time I ever felt pure victory.
So it has always seemed to me that to do something very dangerous requires a certain absence of imagination.
Because I'm quicker than all of you.
Soon you will know what it is like to be defeated by the hands of somebody who is truly better than you.
The only thing to do here is to drive just as fast as you know how and hope your car doesn't break.
And if you no longer go for a gap that exists, you're no longer a racing driver.
If you ain't first, you're last. There's 40 other vultures out there who managed to finish the race on their tires. You see Darrell Waltrip using up his tires?
There's nothing I can't do with a race car.
I mean, hell, isn't that what we're in this for? To stare death in the face and to cheat it? I mean, come on, there's nobility in that. It's like being knights.
Sometimes you could swear the whole thing's falling to bits.
No pressure, nobody breathing down my back, just driving because I left it pure.
On the other hand, I suppose potential problems are in the back of your mind all the time.
So in many ways, I feel responsible for what happened. And
You were, but trust me, watching you win those races while I was fighting for my life, you were equally responsible for getting me back in the car.
You're so lucky. You sit there all closed in by machinery and bolts, precise things. There's hardly any room for you. It must be a nice, safe feeling.
You gotta learn to trust something. Might just as well be the seat of your pants.
A lot of people go through life doing things badly. Racing's important to men who do it well. When you're racing, it's life. Anything that happens before or after, it's just waiting.
Well, we can drive. We can drive beyond the limits of the tires, the engine, the car, anything else.
Look out there is the perfect lap. No mistakes, every gear change, every corner, perfect. You see it.
I just hope when you do, that I'm there to see it.
Ask any racer, any real racer. It don't matter if you win by an inch or a mile. Winning's winning.
But it isn't just business, is it?
what we do. It's passion, love, which is why we are prepared to risk our lives for it.
Racing. That's the name of the game, isn't it? Win or lose, put up or shut up.
Why does everybody keep telling me what my problem is?
That you get so emotional.
You would never, ever say that to a guy.
If you don't leave your feelings off the track, you're never going to get what you want.
I'm a race driver, and I can win it on my own. Please let me race.
Fine. Then let's race.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and once again, welcome back to the Grand Prix World Series. My name is Topher Smith, and today we're heading to Zolder in Belgium. We were due to be racing at Toronto in Canada to get round 4 underway, but problems with the circuit forced a cancellation of the Canadian race, and Zolder has stepped in to fill the void for round 4. Before we get any action underway today, we're going to remind ourselves of what the drivers' tables look like, starting off with League 2. And it is Alex Palou in the Ram who enjoys a healthy lead at the moment on 56 points, 26 ahead of his nearest rival Ryo Hirakawa in the Carlin on 30 points. Kimi Antonelli third in the Scuderia Colonia on 27, ahead of Nick de Vries who won the season opener on 25. Luke Browning also on 25, having picked up his maiden Grand Prix World Series victory last time out in Indianapolis. Will Power sixth in the Prema on 19th, ahead of Nick Cassidy and Linus Lundqvist both on 18. Ritomo Miata 9th on 15 and Matt Campbell in the Ram on 13, rounding out the top 10. Looking at the team standings, Palou's points haul is helping Ram to enjoy the top spot at the moment on 69 points. Andretti second on 43 in their first series of the Grand Prix World Series. Scuderia Colonia on 37, ahead of Forti Corsi. Dome 5th on 33, Carlin on 31. Prema on 21, ahead of Zakspeed, Dams and Real rounding out the top 10. While in 11th is Surtees, Tolman in 12th, and LaRousse the only team yet to pick up a point this season. Just a couple of driver changes to bring you today, the first of which being at the Dams Honda team. Colton Herter picking up a race ban last time out in Indianapolis, and stepping in is the Dams reserve driver Danny Juncadella. He raced for Arrows last season and lost his seat. Now returning to a race seat for today's Zolder Grand Prix. How is he going to get on his return? Could he potentially convince Phil Kinch to give him a full-time race seat for the rest of the season? He'll be looking to make the most of this opportunity he's got here. While at the Tolman team, Bruno Senna has been dropped in favour of Formula 2 racer Paul Aron. Michael Gillespie having a bit of a play around with his drivers today to see who is going to be his best bets for the rest of the season. Paul Aron making his debut in the Grand Prix World Series today. But how did our two new drivers get on in qualifying? Well, we could take a look at the grid now before heading down to trackside. And it is Nick Cassidy in the Dome who takes his first ever Grand Prix World Series pole position, less than a tenth of a second ahead of Matt Campbell in the Ram. Callum Aylott doing a good job for third in the Carlin, ahead of Jake Dennis and the Andretti on his return from his suspension last time out. Daniel Gade on his return will line up fifth in the Dams, ahead of Alex Palou, our championship leader. Tomoki Najiri 7th in the Prema, ahead of Ryo Hirakawa and Ritomo Miata, a group of Japanese drivers there, all looking to get top honours for their nation. And Kimi Antonelli will round out the top 10 in the Scuderia Colonia, looking to build upon his strong start to the season. Nick de Vries will go from 11th today, ahead of Stoffel van Dorn. Zach O'Sullivan 13th alongside Luke Browning, the 240 Corti sharing the same row there. Will Power 15th, ahead of Mike Conway. Pato Ward being outshone by his substitute teammate today. Robin Friends 18th in the Zakspeed, have Jess Hawkins and debutant Paul Aron qualifying 20th in his first time out. Kush Miney will be 21st in the Colonia, ahead of Abby Pulling. Jamie Chadwick 23rd ahead of Dennis Hauger, and on the back row of the grid, Sarah Moore and Matteo Caroli, all cars within 1 second of each other in qualifying. This is set up to be an almighty encounter today in Belgium. So the grid is set and Tom Cairns is ready and waiting in the commentary box to get you through the first race of today's action. So Tom, take it away.
The European season begins in the Grand Prix World Series. Nick Cassidy on pole alongside Matt Campbell as the Oceania drivers look to get off the line very, very well here. Nick Cassidy in particular trying to get through turn 1. 2 lights are on, 3, 4 and 5. Lights on, lights off. Matt Campbell reacted very, very well compared to Cassidy and is away into the lead. Although Cassidy is going to have the inside line into the left-hander of turn number 1. But Campbell is in front. He leads in the Ram ahead of the dome of Nick Cassidy. Then we got Jake Dennis back after a 1-race ban in 3rd position. Then it's Tomiki Najiri, Danny Yonkadea in the Dams, Callum Ilott, Ritomo Miata, Alex Palou, Ria Hirakawa and Stoff Van Don in the top 10 so far. Cassidy trying to get back through ahead of Campbell, but no way through the Lucien Bianchi corner. And now they're coming up to the first chicane of the lap. And we are riding on board with the Prema of Tomiki Najiri up the inside of Jake Dennis as they go into the chicane. And it's the Prema who takes the position away from the Andretti, the Japanese driver ahead of the Brit. No drama so far, although I say that Dennis Hauger has lost his front right wheel and the Tolman is out of the race before the first lap is even done. It's been a dreadful start to the season for Michael Gillespie's team, and I have to say, Jake Dennis was far too late on the brakes there. It looks like he ran into the back of one of the Surtees in front. We'll take another look at the incident from the onboard of Dennis Hauger. He came from so far back as well. And in fact, he hit one of the LaRussas. Very lucky not to take him out of the race, otherwise that would have been a race ban coming in the way of the Norwegian. Hauger out of the race on the spot. And Michael Gillespie, the team manager of Tolman, down to just one driver in the event. And so Matt Campbell leads, Nick Cassidy second, and it's Tomiki Najiri, Jake Dennis, Danny Yonkadea substituting for the suspended Colton Hurd, who is in 5th. Callum Ilott 6th, Ritomo Miata 7th, Alex Palou 8th, the championship leader in lead 2. And it's Ria Hirakawa 9th, and Stoff Van Don in the final points paying position in the Zach Speed in 10th place. Cassidy chasing after. Campbell looking to get back after what he had lost at the start. At least he got further this time than what he did so in Indianapolis. He was taken out by Colton Hertzer, which is the reason why Hertzer's got the race ban for this round. We were meant to be racing in Toronto in Canada for round 4, although there were some issues with the circuit that were out of downforce's control. And so we ended up racing at Zolder in Belgium instead. A move from Stoff Van Don on Ria Hirakawa for 9th position in the Tolman, the Zach Speed. So Van Don making his way through the field. He didn't make it to the end of the race, did Van Don, neither did his teammate. And those two will be looking to bounce back here. Approaching the end of lap number 2. So Campbell's made up 1 position, Cassidy has lost 1. Najiri making a cracking start from 7th on the grid up to 3rd place. He's made up 4 positions. And then we've got Jake Dennis, who's made up no positions but hasn't lost any either. Danny Yonkadea has stayed in the same position as he was at the start. Alex Palou is down 2 positions. Callum Ilott has lost 3 positions from his starting spot. Ria Hirakawa is down 2. Miata is up 2. Antonelli, who started 10th on the grid, has lost a ton of places at the start. He's outside the top 15, is Kimi Antonelli in the Coloni. Here's a move from Pato Ward in the Dams up the inside of Ria Hirakawa into the left-right chicane of the lap before they head towards Villeneuve. And we can just see De Vries getting in a tangle there with one of the Zach Speeds. And I think that the Prema to his right will have been Will Power. So you can just see a replay of the Andretti making contact with the Prema and also with the Zach Speed alongside. And the Zach Speed he came together with was Robin Friends. No further action is taken on that incident. There is Matteo Caroli running in 24th position in the LaRousse. No points so far for LaRousse this season. Chadwick has had a reasonable start to the campaign with the performances we have seen from her. And you could say she has comprehensively had the better start compared to Caroli in regards to raw pace. But no points have been scored on the board yet for the French team that is run by the Scotsman Chris Hosey. There is Najiri in 3rd position ahead of Dennis. The top two still remaining nose to tail, just under 8 tenths is the margin. Kalamaila on a charge, trying to make up for lost ground at the start. He's through on Daniel Gundea up to 5th position by going past him at the chicane, which is known as the Klein chicane. And then they head towards the slower chicane of the lap, which is the Villeneuve chicane, named after the late Gilles Villeneuve, who of course had his fatal accident at that corner. And so the corner has been named after it. Oh, we've just seen Nick Cassidy go for a spin. He's hit the barrier. I don't know how on earth he's managed to do that at the Jackie X chicane for the dome. So Nick Cassidy making another mistake. And that is probably going to see him down towards the back of the pack. And this is not what dome needed. Cassidy, qualifying on pole position, has thrown it away at the last corner of the circuit. And after 4 laps, he finds himself at the back of the field. Just hope he doesn't rejoin into the path of another driver. You can see he's back on the circuit now in 25th place. We want to see what's going on up ahead, because I thought we saw a driver or two making up a position. Dennis up to 3rd place now, behind Tommy Kinajiri. Matt Campbell's lead is 2.5 seconds. Kalamailot, who's 6 seconds back, ahead of Daniel Kidea. Toma Miata is 6th in the other dome. It's Stoff Van Dorn, Alex Below, who's 8th at the moment. He's been overtaken by Van Dorn. O'Ward 9th in the Dams. In 10th place now is Ryo Hirakawa in the Carlin. We've seen 3 different race winners this season. Nick de Vries in Brazil, Alex Palou in Argentina, and Luke Browning for 40 in Indianapolis. Luke Browning running in 13th position. De Vries is outside the top 15 on the timing tower. And Alex Palou running the highest of those 3 in 8th place. It's early days so far in this one. The team managers have just done an upgrade window. Whilst I say that, Alex Palou has lost another position, this time to the Dams of Pato Ward. He's gone through. Team managers have had an upgrade window to upgrade their machines. You can use it on engine power and you can use it on reliability. It was quite a car breaker at Indianapolis. Only half of the field making it to the end in both Leagues 1 and 2. There's Nick de Vries in 17th position behind the Real of Mike Conway. Approaching the end of lap number 6. Basically started lap 7 already. Matt Campbell continuing to pull away. There's also strategy to play a part in this. Who is going to blink first out of the 2 stoppers? Some will be doing the 2, others will be doing the 1. see Mike Conway going for it on Kimi Antonelli into the Klein chicane, and that's enough to see him go up a position into 15th place. De Vries isn't too far behind Conway. I say he's not too far behind Conway. He's not too far behind Kimi Antonelli. Campbell continuing on in the Ram. Ram have had an astonishing start to the season with a race win. Alex Palou leading the Drivers' Championship. Campbell managed to open his account in Indianapolis. He did get a pole position in Argentina but didn't finish the race. He got his first finish last time out at Indianapolis. Palou has a handsome lead in the Drivers' Championship. Ram have got a commanding lead in the Teams' Championship. The top 3 teams go up to League One at the end of the season. In contrast, the bottom 3 teams of League One will head down to League 2 for Season 5. You can see the 240 swapping places. Luke Browning get ahead of Zach O'Sullivan. And the race winner in Indianapolis goes up into 12th place. Next driver ahead of him is Chris Miney. Kimi Antonelli trying to get back through on Jamie Chadwick, who got through ahead of him. And we are seeing Zach O'Sullivan pull out of the race in the 40. That is a terrible shame, and it's a puncture that is the cause. Just to correct myself from earlier, it's not Jamie Chadwick in the LaRousse, it's Abby Pullen. Jamie Chadwick is in the Rio. Got the two mixed up. Jake Dennis running in P3 behind Tomiki Ujiri. Zach O'Sullivan out of the race. And that's the 3rd time from 4 races he's not making it to the checkered flag. Reliability has been a problem for Dave Goddard's team this season so far. It's good to see they've got a win on the board, but they need to build on that if they're going to be in contention for a promotion spot for a swift return to League One. And we've just seen Chadwick get through on Conway now. Chadwick having a good race so far, which is up into 13th position. Conway trying to get back through, but to no avail. And he's got the Coloni of Kimi Antonelli for company. There's Jake Dennis, Formula E champion last year. It's unlikely he'll retain it this year. As far as the Grand Prix World Series is concerned for him, in his rookie season, didn't make it to the end in Brazil. Finished outside the points in Argentina. But he also got a ban for taking out Luke Browning in Argentina, which resulted in him being suspended for the round at Indianapolis. So he's back in the car now. And tell you that Tomiki Ujiri has just locked up into the Villeneuve chicane and got away with it. He's just gone through the chicane there, no problem. Didn't go too far out wide, got the car slowed down. It has given Matt Campbell a little bit more of a buffer. 3.7 seconds is the margin. We've seen overtakes left, right and centre. There is Nick Cassidy coming back through. He has got ahead of Abby Pullen now. And the next driver ahead of Cassidy is Matteo Caroli. Matt Campbell leading the race on lap 11. Tomiki Ujiri in P2 in the Prema. This has been Prema's best race so far, but will it stay like that at the checkered flag? Tomiki Ujiri pulling out on the last lap in the last race, thanks to a mechanical issue. It might have been a puncture or something like that. But he was running in the points until mechanical problems had robbed him of that. not too far away from pit stops. It's a 58 lap race. See Najiri coming through. It's Dennis, Ilott, Miata in the dome, running in 5th. We have seen Caroli lose a position there. Oh, there's a tangle between the two Surtees cars of Jess Hawkins and Sarah Moore. That could have ended disastrously there for the pair. You look at Sarah Moore from her angle. She came so far back, there was just not enough room. I think Jess Hawkins had the right to turn into the corner she did, because Sarah Moore was nowhere near alongside to make that pass. And she was very lucky that both of them were able to keep going. See Moore trying again, but she's not going to be able to do it from there. And no further action is going to be taken. On lap number 12, Campbell leading Najiri. It's Dennis who remains a little over a second behind. Miata is 5th, behind Callum Ilott. So Najiri, you can see Dennis and Ilott in the background. And there's Miata, who's had a respectable race so far, in the lead at Indianapolis before he retired. Matt Campbell continuing on, completing lap number 12 out of 58. We're nearly a quarter of the way through this one. Not too much drama so far. Alex Blow running in 9th place behind Pato Award. Blow hasn't exactly been as quick as what he has been in previous races. His teammates doing a much better job than what he has in previous rounds as well. Chris Miney outside the points in 11th ahead of Luke Browning and Jamie Chadwick. We've got Mike Conway and Nick DeFries top 15. We've got just 2 retirements so far. Dennis Hauger out on the first lap after running into Matteo Caroli at the Klein chicane, and we lost Zach O'Sullivan not too long ago thanks to a puncture. You might have noticed that Dams are wearing a different livery here in Belgium to what they had in the first few races. I think they're running a more recent GP2 series car that they ran in the early 2010s. Campbell re-ride on board, going through the Klein chicane, doing everything right so far. And the man who was challenging him earlier in the race for the lead, before he's off, Nick Cassidy, is in 20th position, and he's stuck behind Robin Frines. Jake Dennis in P3. Nick Cassidy up the inside of Robin Frines this time, and that's a sudden overtake for the Kiwi to get through. Coming into turn number 1. It won't be too long before Matt Campbell comes up to back markers. This is Jake Dennis's best race so far. a troublesome time with the Andrea Motor Squad in Season 3. He's now an Andretti driver. Andretti in their first season in the Grand Prix Series. There's been one to remember for them so far, but will it count in the final reckoning in relation to getting their place in League One for Season 5 at the first time of asking. Cal Mylott running in 4th position behind Jake Dennis. He's looking to fend him off. Retaining the asset 4 seconds back in 5th. And then it's Danny Unkadea in 6th place, who's another 4 seconds behind. Leading Stoffel van Dorn, Pato Award. Plo is 9th ahead of the Japanese driver in the Carlin, Ryo Hirakawa. There's Dennis ahead of Mylott. It's been the best race from Mylott from a long time. He has won in the Grand Prix Series before. He won in his very first race, actually, in Taupo in Season 2. On lap 17, Campbell still leading. It's Nijiri, Dennis, Eilert, Miata, Unkadea, Van Dorn, O'Ward, Palou and Hirakawa. It seems to be settling down, but the pit stops will change that very soon. What will Matt Campbell decide to do? Don't know for certain how long you need for a pit stop here at Zolder. But I think once Matt Campbell does come up to some back markers, that might make his mind up rather easily. Jake Dennis still chasing after Tomoki Nijiri. And we're right on board with Paul Aron, who is in the Tolman in place of Bruno Senna. Been overtaken by Nick Cassidy. Cassidy up into 18th now, ahead of Aron, who's competing in his first race in the Grand Prix Series. We are seeing a pit stop now, and it's Tomoki Nijiri from 2nd place at the end of lap 17. Now, is anyone else ducking into the pits? We'll see how long it takes for Nijiri to make his pit stop. He was 4 seconds behind Matt Campbell when he came in. Where will he filter back out? Nijiri. He's gone off the timing tower, so we won't actually know. But what I will say is that you'll need at least 30 seconds for a pit stop. As Paul Aron comes in for his first Grand Prix Series pit stop. There's Matt Campbell at the front. Way through this Zolder racetrack, which is a previous home of the Belgian Grand Prix before Spa has been the permanent home for it. The last time they hosted a Formula 1 race was back in 1984. Michele Alboreto was a race winner for Ferrari then. And the 2 dominant McLarens that season didn't finish the race. Alan Prost and Niki Lauda. 2 more drivers are coming into the pits, Callum Eilert and Ritomo Miata. Now looking at Matt Campbell, who is coming up towards Paul Aron, I think. tyres, so he may be able to just pull away a little bit. Caroli in the LaRousse comes in. Allen will go back ahead of him. There's Junkendaya in 3rd position in the dams. Cassidy's made his way back into 15th position. He's behind the Premier of Will Power, the League 2 Drivers' Champion of the Grand Prix Series in Season 2. Will Power, that is, not Nick Cassidy. Sarah Moore in 22nd position, ahead of Paul Laron. Caroli's been lapped now by the race leader. It's not going to be too long before Paul Laron gets lapped. O'Ward and Miney are both in the pits. As is Chadwick. I think Cassidy's made his way into the pits as well. Cheery goes up into 13th place behind Frines now. And we're looking at Jake Dennis, who's coming up to the back of Matteo Caroli, who's just pitted. You can see Calamilot, who has just pitted, makes the most of his fresh tyres and gets through on Abby Pullen into the Klein chicane. We're seeing Matt Campbell and Jake Dennis both in the pits now from 1st and 2nd places. Now Najiri coming round soon. We've just seen Junkendaya and Van Dorn come into the pits, so Alex Paulet will take over the race lead for now. There is Miazza getting through on Abby pulling into the right-hander of the Boulderberg corner. And we're seeing more drivers come into the pit lane. Luke Browning, Stoff Van Dorn and Mike Conway are in. Paulet leads the race then. Hirakawa second. It's Antonelli in 4th place behind De Vries. Matt Campbell 5th after his pit stop. He's still in front of Tomo Kunijiri, which is important for his race. And we can see Will Power coming through on Matt Campbell on the inside. Power is on less fuel at the moment than Campbell. And Campbell will be on fresher tyres. That's not the overtake that Campbell would have wanted, but that's going to help Power's teammate Tomoki Nijiri closing a little bit more. De Vries in 3rd place in the Andretti. Campbell getting back through on Power. Power was only able to hold up Campbell for a little bit, and now he's got back through again. Now, are we seeing any more pit stops at the end of lap 21? Well, Paulet's not come in. Hirakawa hasn't either. De Vries is coming in. From 5th position comes the Dutchman. And we also see him Power and Frines in. Hirakawa running in 2nd place. Antonelli is another one of those who has yet to stop. He's only a second clear of Matt Campbell at the moment. And Nick Cassidy has posted a new fastest up of the race, a 1:17.5. He's pitted, for your information, has Nick Cassidy. Now we're coming towards the end of lap 22. Paulet and Hirakawa are 1st and 2nd. There is Kimi Antonelli, who recently won in the Formula 2 sprint race at Silverstone, the first win of his F2 career in his rookie season. We are riding on board. This is the Riel of Mike Conway is just in front of Nick Cassidy. Matt Campbell running in 4th place behind Antonelli as they begin lap 23. Najiri is only 2.3 seconds behind Campbell. The gap is getting smaller, so Campbell needs to get through on Antonelli to pull away from the Japanese. He's doing so right now here into the Klein chicane. Down the inside goes Matt Campbell, and that overtake was coming all along. Antonelli lets Campbell go. And Campbell can go after Pelot and Hirakawa. We expect these two to be doing a one-stop. Yukandeo, meanwhile, gets through on Jess Hawkins, while Sarah Moore goes for an off-track excursion at the Jackie X corner. She did very well to keep going there. In fact, she lost it. Went too deep into the left-hand to begin with, which put her offline, running into the gravel on the exit. Sarah Moore finished in the points last time out in Indianapolis, which was the best result of her career so far. Surtees can be pretty happy with what they've done. Team manager Jake Sanson has done a super job with the talent that he's got. Next target is to push further on and get some more points. I wouldn't say they're going to be in the running for promotion though, but that's a tall order. And they'll give it a good old try. Maybe get a podium out of it at some point. Campbell in 3rd place, ahead of Antonelli. Behind Antonelli is Tomoki Nijiri. And it's Calamile at 6th, Jake Dennis 7th, it's Ritomo Miata 8th, Danny Yugandaya is 9th. And it's Yunkade's teammate Pato Ward in 10th place in the dams. Right on board with Ryo Hirakawa. Determined for a 3rd podium finish out of 4 this season. There is Van Dorn getting through on the Surtees of Jess Hawkins for 11th place. Just saw Jade Dennis locking up a little bit. Behind Dennis is Miata. Yunkandaya and O'Ward are next behind. And there's Nick Cassidy. The pole sitter is out of the race yet again. And it's the front right suspension that has let him down. It's been an unlucky ride so far in the Grand Prix Series for Nick Cassidy. And it's going to be him out of the race before the end. It's been another messy race for him. When will luck go right for Dome this season? They cannot afford to have too many issues like that. That's the 3rd driver to retire from the race. We're on lap 25, so we've done rather well to only get 3 non-finishers so far. The gap between Pelot and Hirakawa is 1.5 seconds. Campbell is closing down the gap, although it's a gradual reduction as opposed to closing down rapidly for Matt Campbell despite being on fresher tyres. I thought Campbell would be going quicker than what he's doing. If Alex Pelot is to make the one-stop work, that could help him take another victory and extend his lead at the top of the Drivers' Championship, which at this stage of the season, the points gap that he's got over the others, it is mesmerising. Never thought I'd be saying that. For Ryo Hirakawa, came into the race, 2nd in the Drivers' Championship. He'll remain 2nd as it stands. The positions were to remain as they are. Matt Campbell is less than 13 seconds behind Hirakawa as he goes up the hill through Sector 2. Jamie Chadwick, who's got Mike Conway, his teammate, her teammate for company. And Alex Palou is finally in from the race lead at the end of lap 26. Where will this feed him back out? Now, he should get out in front of... It won't be Pato Ward. I'd probably say he's going to rejoin whereabouts Jess Hawkins is at. And Palou is exiting the pit lane behind Hawkins. Can she get out? Can he get out ahead of Luke Browning? And I think the answer is yes. So you probably need roundabout. Or how much of a gap do you need? I think you probably need about 35 seconds for a pit stop. Which doesn't give you a lot of time to make up the ground. Just see Luke Browning getting through on Alex Palou. He goes up into 12th place. Hirakawa comes into the pits 1 lap after Palou. Is Antonelli doing the same? He is. We're going to see how Antonelli's stop goes, although we've just come away from that. So Campbell comes back into his outright position at the front. Tom Cairns second. Kalamola ahead of Jake Dennis. Tomiata is 5th. There's Daniel Kadea and Pato Ward. Van Don goes up into 8th place now. Does Jess Hawkins come into the pits? And the answer to that question is no. She's ahead of Hirakawa. Lap number 28, and Matt Campbell is in the lead with Tommy Kinijiri second. There's Kalmailot and Jake Dennis and Ritomo Miata. There is Hirakawa has just been overtaken by Luke Browning. But more importantly, he's in front of Alex Palou. So Hirakawa was able to complete an overcut on Palou to go up a position effectively. Jess Hawkins has yet to stop in this race. I think she's the only driver yet to stop. She hasn't come into the pits yet. She's still continuing on. Nigiri running in second place ahead of Ilott, who is determined to try and go for a move at some point on the Kramer. Do so just yet. Here's Campbell in the lead. Through the chicane. He's got another chicane to get through before the lap is out. Are we going to see Matt Campbell come away with the race win for the first time in his Grand Prix Series career? Tommy Kinijiri has yet to win, and his Primo's teammate Will Power has won in the Grand Prix Series in the past, but he's not going to do it today as he's had a spin at the Villeneuve chicane. Tyres, and around the car goes. He's going to wait for Sarah Moore to come round before he can get going. Oh, he's managed to absolutely spoil it there. There's Will Power. He's got the car going again. He's almost a lap down on the leaders. Jake Dennis in 4th place in the Andretti, ahead of Ritomo Miata. There's Daniel Kadea and Pato Ward next behind. Stoff Van Don is 8th. Jess Hawkins still going in 9th position in the Surtees. Milot in 3rd place. Tomoki is just ahead. Team manager of Kramer, Alex Johnston, is desperate for his team to be scoring points in this. Jess Hawkins does finally come in at the end of lap 30. Quadruplet of Ilott, Dennis and Miata as they go up the hill and then down again to the sharp right-hander of the Boulderberg box, and it's the Jochen chicane that they are going through. It's the Jekyll chicane, and last the chicanes to round out the lap. Is 18th behind Robin Frines. Behind Antonelli are Abby Pulley, Matteo Corelli, Sarah Moore. Jess Hawkins has rejoined in 22nd place, ahead of Will Power. 3 retirements so far: Nick Cassidy, Zach O'Sullivan, and Dennis Hauger are no longer in the race. The League 1 race will follow after this one. Super drive from Matt Campbell. He is expected to make one more stop in this race though, which means that Ryo Hirakawa is expected to go back into the lead again, because he and Alex Palou are on the 1 stop, and talking of which of Ryo Hirakawa, he gets through on Luke Browning, and that's enough to go up into 8th place on the circuit. And now we'll see Nick de Vries behind Alex Palou, who just covers him off there. He was very slow out of the Klein chicane, was Palou. Campbell's still going. 8 seconds clear over Najiri. Ilott is 3rd, Dennis Hauger is 4th, Ritomo Miata is 5th. Hirakawa is 9th behind Van Dorn. We've just seen Najiri, who's still ahead of Ilott. Dennis thinks about a move. That is his thought has just cost him a bit of ground, and Miata is closing in on him. So we've got 6 different cars in the top 6 places. Now Nick de Vries goes up the inside of Alex Palou, and he goes up into 11th spot. Alex Palou really is struggling at the present moment. Najiri carrying on his way. Palou continuing to struggle. He's got Kushmini and Mike Conway closing him down as well. Really hasn't been at it today as Alex Palou, like what we've seen from him in previous races. Matt Campbell continuing on. Won't be too far away from his 2nd stop of the race. There's Njeri, there is Ilott, there is Dennis, and there is Miata. And Alex Palou goes down another position. It's Kushmani who gets through this time. The stop isn't exactly working so far for Alex Palou, and it's costing him big time. Next behind Palou is Mike Conway, and then it's Jamie Chadwick. And on that 35, we've got 24 laps to go in this Lead 2 race at Zolder. Campbell's got... Oh, there's an engine failure. Is that the race leader, Matt Campbell? It is! 8 seconds ahead in the lead. Matt Campbell's engine goes up in smoke. Disaster for the Ram team. It is not getting any better for Campbell right now. And Caroli's out as well in the LaRose. And it's a similar problem for the Prima. Just see him stop in the pits there. Oh, don't take out another driver there. Oh, he was very lucky. He could have taken out the Surtees of Jess Hawkins, which probably would have resulted in a race ban for Caroli. But in more important matters, Campbell pulls off the circuit and he is out of the race on lap 35. Not good news for Ram or for team manager Ross McGregor. Campbell's car is lifted over the barrier and he is gone. The race has very much opened up now. Najiri leads ahead of Ilott, Dennis and Miata, but all of them are due in the pits again before this race is over. Ryo Hirakawa, who's in 8th place, does not need to stop again. The battle for the win is very much on. Power, who's yet to go through on Campbell, is going to do so in a moment, but it's been a race to forget for him again. He's not had a good start to his time at Prima. Didn't win a race last season, Will Power, at Leighton House. He's struggling to adapt to life in League 2 again, after winning the championship a couple of seasons ago for Chris Cavani's team. Alex Palou is still ahead of Mike Conway. Another lap completed. Najiri leads Ilott ahead of Dennis, ahead of Miata. Shokadea, O'Ward, Van Dorn, Hirakawa, Browning and De Vries. Alex Palou is 12th right now. It's all due to change once the 2 stoppers come in for their last stops again. Prima have yet to taste victory. This is only their 4th Grand Prix World Series race. Alex Johnson in charge. Previously, the Midland team manager went down with them last season, but has found sanctuary at Prima. There's Ilott. Najiri and Ilott up ahead, but we're looking at Jake Dennis, and we could maybe see a battle for the change for lead here, because Ilott is right on the tail of Najiri on the back straight before the Klein chicane. No way through just yet for Ilott. Najiri carries on his way. Power 21st behind Jess Hawkins, who is closing in on Sarah Moore. Seen the second round of pit stops. Ilott in from second place, Miazza in from what is fourth position. Ward coming in as well. That releases Danny Juncadella, goes up into third position for now. And on lap 38, Luke Browning, fourth driver to come in. Goes up to fifth. Happy Pulling coming in for the race. It's been quite a lonely race for Pulling. She hasn't been able to make much progress in this one. Mike Conway up the inside of Alex Palou now, and Palou has lost another position. And an engine problem further behind for the other Real of Jamie Chadwick. Another race going up in smoke for her. And Chadwick has yet to score a point so far this season. It's going to be a third retirement out of 4 for her. Danielle Juncadella in the pits from third place. Chadwick will need to get off the circuit sooner rather than later, unless she's able to get that car back to the pits. Is she able to get in? No, it's all over for her. The problem is terminal. Chadwick is the next driver to retire. As Miazza goes through, Miazza's lost time being stuck behind her, which isn't going to please other drivers or any of the other team managers. Just seen Juncadella come out of the pits ahead of Chadwick. Behind Chadwick is Pato Ward. Will Power comes in the Prima. And we should see Chadwick pulling off the circuit here. See him bouncing over the gravel. And that's one of Ed Hunter's drivers gone from this. Chadwick out of the race. And it's an engine problem for her. The gap between Najiri and Dennis has increased to 4.6 seconds, but I think that's because just trying to remember what's happened. I mean, Ilott and Miazza were in, although Danny Juncadella is most certainly not going to make it to the flag. The car is on fire, and he's the next to retire from this race. Points down the drain for him. And we hope to see him back in the car very soon, as Colton Herter will take back over the seats in the near future. So De Vries, Miney, Conway and Friends are all in the pits. That brings Jess Hawkins back up into the points once more. Comes in. Just seeing Najiri and Dennis also come in. So Ryo Hirakawa will take over the race lead. He does not need to pit again, does Hirakawa, because he came in around about midway through this one. But can the likes of Najiri, Dennis and co close in on him? Considering that Ilott pitted in before Dennis, Najiri and Van Don, I would probably say he's going to complete an undercut on those three and take over second place. And Ilott goes through ahead of Dennis. And hang on a second. That's Hirakawa in trouble. Ryo Hirakawa has only just taken the lead. His car has also gone up in smoke. Unbelievable luck for team manager Perry Brown. It's going to be another race where Hirakawa has been in the lead before retiring. 2 races in a row. The saving grace for them is that Callum Ilott in the other Carlin will take over the lead, but it's no points once again for Ryo Hirakawa. Ilott goes through. Pelot will go through into second place now. And Miata completed an undercut on Dennis and Najiri. In fact, Dennis got in front of Najiri in the stops. But Hirakawa is out of the race less than a lap after taking over the lead from those who had just been in the pits. Jess Hawkins going up into 9th place now. Luke Brennan into the points again in the 40. Ilott's lead is 3.8 seconds. Pelot doing his best to go after him. Got 16 laps to go in this race. And there's an overtake being done by Stoff Van Don on Kimi Antonelli for 7th position. Jess Hawkins is 9th in the Surtees, aiming for another points finish. Blows trot back from Ilott now. Don't think it'll be too long before Miata gets through. And the likes of Dennis and Najiri. It's 4.4 seconds between Ilott and Pelot in set to 1. It's now 4.7. Ilott going for his second Grand Prix World Series win. Carlin have yet to taste victory in the Grand Prix World Series. Tried 19 times and failed. Is number 20 the right number that is going to come up for them? 40 took victory for the first time in their 50th Grand Prix World Series race at Indianapolis. Are Carlin going to join the long list of teams to have won a race in this championship? Or is Ilott's luck going to end up in the same way as Hirakawa's? Let's hope it's the former. Now we are seeing Jake Dennis is right in the slipstream of Rito Miata, and he's going to go for it. Is the Andretti driver. Dennis up the inside of Miata, and he's through into 3rd place. Is the Brit. Miata could not have any response to that. And now Najiri is going after the Japanese. The 2 Japanese drivers going into combat now. Miata and Najiri. Former rivals, of course, in Super Formula. Now, the rivalry goes to Zolder in the Grand Prix World Series. Pelot in 2nd place. It's now 5.9 seconds behind. Race leader Callum Ilott. DeFries outside the points in 11th place, Kushmani 12th, Mike Conway 13th, Robin Frines is 14th, and Paul Aron is 15th. So far, I believe we've lost 7 drivers. Daniel Kundea, who have just lost. Ryo Hirakawa is also out. Matteo Caroli, Matt Campbell. We'll go back to that in a moment. Miata has lost another position to Tomoki Najiri. It's going from bad to worse for Dome. Now we look at Dennis. He's all over the back of Alex Pelot in the fight for 2nd position. He needs to get by him here, does Dennis? Start closing on his compatriot. Dennis up the inside of Alex Pelot into the right-hander, and that's enough for Dennis to get through into 2nd place. Textbook overtake from the Formula E champion. I think it's damage limitation time for Pelot. The one-stop strategy has not quite paid off for him here. gap between Ilott and Dennis over the line with 13 laps to go. It is 6.7 seconds. And behind Dennis is Alex Palou. He'll be under threat from Tom Cairns in the near future. And there is Ilott coming over the hill and towards the Villeneuve chicane. Palou in P3. So Ward locking up ahead of Topher Van Dorn. And down the hill. .3 seconds is the margin between Ilott and Dennis. Dennis is getting the gap down as we speak. Let's see what the gap is over the line. Let's have a look. 6.2. Dennis absolutely going for it on this lap. He took out half a second on Ilott on the previous lap. If he was to do that for every lap, it would not be enough for him to win the race. He needs to take out more than what he's doing. But now that Palou is out of the way, he can concentrate on everything he needs to do with Ilott. There's Najiri behind Palou in the battle for the final podium position. If the positions were to remain as they are, the driver going up into second place in the Drivers' Championship would be Kimi Antonelli, who's running in 8th. If he was to remain in that position, he'll move in front of Hirakawa by a point. Alex Palou will still extend his lead at the top of the Drivers' Championship. At the moment, it will be, if I can get my maths right, it will be 40 points between him and Antonelli after just 4 races. Gap between Ilott and Dennis is just 6 seconds, so Dennis only took 2/10 out on the Carlin on the previous lap alone. And looking at the calendar for this season, instead of Toronto, we've been to Zolder, which is where we are today. We go to Montjuic Park in Spain. It's off to Dijon-Bourgogne in France, Mugello in Italy, Nürburgring in Germany for round 8. Istanbul, Pärnu and Anderstorp are the remaining races for the European phase of the campaign. It's off to Zhuhai in China, Atopolis, Japan, Yeongam, South Korea, Sepang in Malaysia, and the 16th and final championship race will be at Service Paradise, Australia. And we've also got the non-championship Macau Grand Prix to follow after that. Dennis is continuing to close down the gap on Ilott at the front. And Ilott's in the pits with a problem. What's happened to Ilott? He's picked up a problem as the Carlin. It's a throttle problem for Callum Ilott. And it just gets even worse for Perry Brown and the team. Ilott's going to fall out of the points as well. Into the lead goes Jake Dennis. Awful luck. Ilott will drop down behind Kushmini and Mike Conway, I believe. Ilott down to 13th place. And it's unlikely he'll score points now. That allows Alex Palou up to 2nd place. Meanwhile, Jake Dennis is now into the lead, a different race leader again. It hit them in Indianapolis for Carlin, with Hirakawa in the lead, and Ilott went out shortly after that as well. And it's happened again here. Ilott is still in the race, but he's not in the points now. 9 laps remaining. Dennis leads. It's Palou, Najiri, Miata and Van Dorn in the top 5. We've got Pato Award 6th, Kimi Antonelli 7th, Jess Hawkins up to 8th, ahead of Luke Browning in the 40. And in the final points scoring position is Nick de Vries. Ram will still be in the lead of the team's championship after this round. But Andretti, with their victory, are going to close in. Just saw Najiri get through on Alex Palou for second place. We just missed it there, but we know the result of it. But I think that move was coming all along anyway. Najiri through on Palou into P2. Now, can Najiri go after Dennis for the race win? Freeze behind Browning in the battle for 9th place. Not too far up ahead of him is Jess Hawkins, who's had a brilliant race again in the Surtees. We're right on board with Alex Palou. The sole surviving Ram is about to be overtaken here by Rito Miata into turn 1. Miata couldn't quite get the overtake completed, and he's lost ground to the Ram and has fallen back into the clutches of the Zach Speed of Topher van Dorn. Seeing an overtake from Ilott on Mike Conway to go up into 12th place, and Ilott has posted a new fast lap of the race, and he takes that point away from Nick Cassidy, who previously had that. He's up to 12th as Ilott, 2 positions outside the points. As we look at Robin Fines, who has not had an awful lot to do today compared to his teammate. At least he'll get finish after all. Paul Aron on his debut in the Tolman is 15th, just behind. Not seen too much of him either. Dennis is managing the gap on Najiri. Low and Miata on 3rd and 4th. Here's Miata closing in enough on the Ram to try and go for it. If he's going to do it, it's probably going to be into the Klein chicane. There is Palou. But Miata is on the threat from Stoffel van Dorn, who fancies his chances. Perhaps a podium is up for grabs for him. Kramer are about to get their first podium in the Grand Prix World Series thanks to Tomoki Najiri. Many people have tipped Will Power to get the first podium for the team before the season had started, but Najiri has had the better time of it so far this season. He's coming through the Jackie X chicane. We've got 6 more laps to get through. Callum Ilott making a pass on Kushmani for P11. And he's 1 position away from the points. You can just see Nick de Vries on the tail of Luke Browning. So there is a chance that Callum Ilott can still get back into the points, but it's little consolation for team manager Perry Brown when it could have easily been a 1-2. Jiri, Palou, Miata and Van Dorn. Jake Dennis started 4th on the grid. Nick de Vries, his teammate, has got through on Luke Browning for 9th. This driver ahead of him is Jess Hawkins in the Surtees. Palou doing well to keep on of 3rd place. Gap between him and Antonelli, who will go up into 2nd place in the championship. Blow picking up 15 points and Antonelli only getting 6. Get up the top. Yeah, just working out the maths. 29 points between these two. Between those two coming into this round. 38. Positions remained as they are now. But Jake Dennis continuing to lead out in front. Tom Cairns is second. We've got Alex Blow, Rotoma Miata and Topher Van Dorn still in the top 5. Who's still in front of Miata and Van Dorn. And Calamilot, who's still trying to get back into the points, had a go on Luke Browning into the Villeneuve chicane. And didn't quite come off as well as he would have hoped. Let's blow in P3 on course for another podium finish. Second in Brazil, race winner in Argentina. Also finished 5th in Indianapolis. It's going to be a 3rd place for him here. Alpha lead in the Drivers' Championship. And now we look at Calamilot going for it on Luke Browning. And he's back into the points. Here's the Carlin driver. So instead of 1 point, Calamilot's going to get 2 out of this, with the point for the fastest lap coming his way. And I just thought I heard a bang in the background there. Don't know what that was. But we're looking at Jess Hawkins. Well done. Hawkins is in 8th position ahead of De Vries. Calamilot doing his best to go after them, but he's running out of time now. Gap between him and De Vries is only a couple of seconds. 3 laps to go for Jake Dennis. Not too far away from his first win in the Grand Prix World Series. It's going to be Andretti's 2nd win of the campaign as well. Let's go with what Nick De Vries had done in Brazil. And Tommy Kinigiri is going to pick up his first podium. And also Prama's first ever podium in only their 4th Grand Prix World Series race. Kushmini getting through on Luke Browning, who is nursing an issue. And Browning is out of the race here. He is not going to make it to the end. He's really, really struggling. Does he get it back to the pits? The answer is yes. Browning does make it back, but his chances of points are well and truly gone. So that allows Miney, Conway, Fines and Aaron to go through. Pulling going up into 15th position. I think Browning's going to rejoin down in last place once he rejoins. He'll rejoin behind Sarah Moore. He may even try and go for a fastest up on the last lap, who knows. Conway getting through on Miney for P11. There's Tommy Kinigiri, who's behind Dennis. And Pato Wars' chances of points are well and truly gone. Can he get it back to the pits though? No, he's too far away. And Dams chances of points are out of the window. Patrick Ward retires from 6th place. Terrible lot for team manager Phil Kinch. That allows Antonelli, Hawkins, DeFries, Eilert and Conway to go up into the points. But Jake Dennis is on his last lap. He's just behind Luke Browning, who's been in the pits with a throttle problem, or electrical problem as it was. Dennis doesn't need to worry about lapping him. Half a lap away from victory. He's coming into the right-hander before the Jochen Rindt chicane, and it's the Jackie X chicane of which he needs to get through now. Jake Dennis coming round the chicane for the last time. He can call himself a race winner. Jake Dennis wins the Lead 2 Zolder Grand Prix. Andretti back on top. It's 2 wins out of 4 for them. The first for Jake Dennis. What a way to come back after missing Indianapolis. Tommy Kinajiri comes home in 2nd place. Alex Palou on the podium again, extending his lead at the top of the championship. Returning Miata 4th, Stefan Van Dorn 5th. Kimi Antonelli moves up to 2nd place in the Drivers' Championship with 6th place. What a day for Jess Hawkins again in the points for Surtees in 7th. Callum Eilert 8th. Nick DeFries 9th, running off a brilliant day for the team. And Mike Conway picks up the last point in 10th place for Real. Kushmani 11th, ahead of Robin Fries, with Paul Aron 13th on his debut in the Tolman. And we've got Abby Pullin, Sarah Moore. And the last driver over the line should be Luke Browning, is it? No, well, Will Power will be 16th, and then it will be Luke Browning. Let's see if Luke Browning can take the fast lap point away from Callum Eilert. It's highly unlikely, but we'll see if he can do it. Luke Browning over the line. Does he take the fast lap point away from Callum Eilert? Yes, he did. He did take the fastest lap away from Callum Eilert. Well done there to Luke Browning. But Jake Dennis wins the race ahead of Tommy Kinajiri. Alex Palou 3rd, Ratomi Miata 4th, and it's Stefan Van Dorn in 5th. Kimi Antonelli, Jess Hawkins, 7th place for her. Well done to Surtees. Callum Eilert 8th, what could have been the win for him. Nick DeFries 9th, and Mike Conway running out the top 10. It's Kushmani 11th for Robin Frines. Paul Aron on his debut is 13th, ahead of Abby Pullin and Sarah Moore. Will Power was 16th, ahead of Luke Browning. Patrick Ward classified in 18th after being in 6th place with only a couple of laps to go. Ryo Hirakawa retired. What could have been the victory for him. Danny Onkadea also out in his cameo appearance in place of Colton Hertzer. Jamie Chadwick also retiring. Matt Campbell out in the lead. Matteo Caroli once again not finishing. Nick Cassidy, Zach O'Sullivan and Dennis Auger did not make it to the end either. Nick Cassidy took the point for pole position. The fast lap right at the end was snatched by Luke Browning in the 40. So at least Dave Goddard can celebrate something in the garage. That is League 2 done. But League 1 is still to come. It's time to run down on the championship standings here in Zolder for League 2 in the voice of Topher Smith. We'll be back for the League 1 race very, very shortly.
From disqualification to victory, what a job today by Jake Dennis. He picks up his maiden Grand Prix World Series victory, and it's a 2nd win of the season for the Andretti team. But the streak continues. We have not yet had a repeat winner so far in Season 4. Could the League 1 race later change all that? Well, before we get to that, let's have a look at how the driver standings have changed. Alex Palou's 3rd place today sees him extend his championship advantage, and he has more than double the points of the next driver, Kimi Antonelli. So Palou really building up a championship lead at the moment, but it is generally accepted in the world of motorsport that bad luck balances out over the course of the rest of the season. So Palou enjoying a fine run now, but due some bad luck later on in the season, I'm sure. Kimi Antonelli there, 2nd in the points on 35. Ryo Hirakawa, 3rd on 30 points, ahead of Nick DeVries on 27. Ratomi Miata, 5th, also on 27 points, 1 point ahead of Luke Browning. Jake Dennis, today's winner, picks up his first points of the season and moves up to 7th. Tomoki Najiri, 8th on 20, ahead of Nick Cassidy and Will Power, both on 19 points each. In the team standings, Ram still continues to lead the way on 84 points, 14 ahead of Andretti. Dome on 3rd on 46 points, 1 ahead of Scuderia Colonia on 45. Prima up to 5th on 39 ahead of Carlin and 40 Corsi on 35 and 34 each. Zaxby's on 28 ahead of Surtees on 14 and Real keeping themselves in the top 10 on 9 points. Dams, Tolman and LaRousse are in the bottom 3 positions. LaRousse still not picking up any points this season, and surely it will only be a matter of time before Chris Hosey gets his name on the board this season. Well, that is League 2 done and dusted for another week. Now we're going to look onto League 1 and we're going to pick up what the driver standings are following the last race at Indianapolis. Earl Bamber leading the way on 33 points. Not yet won a race so far has Earl Bamber in his short Grand Prix World Series career, but consistent point scoring has given him the early advantage at the top of the championship. Scott Dixon, our reigning champion, is on 30 points, equal of Felix Rosenqvist, who has consistently picked up points in the first 3 races. Joseph Newgarden won last time out in Indianapolis, his home race, and got himself off the mark on 25 points. Sebastian Buemi and Oliver Behrman also on 25 points each. Mahevero Kunnathan up there in 7th on 18 ahead of Jean-Eric Verne on 16, Raffaele Marcello on 15 and Jules Gounon on 14, rounding out the top 10 in the League 1 driver standings. Looking at the team standings, Leighton House are on 58 ahead of Prost on 41, 1 point ahead of Arrows on 40 in 3rd, Minardi on 36 ahead of Force India on 29, Simtek 25, BAR 24, Onyx 14 as well as Manor on 14, while Pacific is in 10th place on 9, Fomitel HRT and Mascar Lola 11th, 12th and 13th, but all teams have scored points this season in League 1, so very competitive so far and plenty of points still to be played for in the remaining races. And for today's League 1 race, there are no driver changes to make any note of, so we're going to head straight down to the grid. And it is a Leighton House 1-2. Earl Bamber qualifies on pole ahead of Joseph Newgarden, separated by less than 400ths of a second, extremely close between those two, while Felix Rosenqvist in the Arrows also within the 10th of Earl Bamber's time. Nicholas Latifi 4th in the BAR ahead of reigning champion Scott Dixon in the Minardi, Kamui Kobayashi in the Simtek 6th ahead of Sebastian Buemi in the Prost, Mahevero Kunnathan 8th for BAR and Jean-Eric Verne and Sebastian Bourdais round out the top 10 in an all-French Row 5. Scott McLaughlin 11th in the HRT ahead of Pietro Fittipaldi, Oliver Behrman up there fighting for the championship in 13th, ahead of Roman Grosjean and Mick Schumacher, Raffaele Marcello 16th, then Alex Sims, Antonio Felix da Costa, Jules Gounon and Liam Lawson, the 2 Onyxes, sharing the same piece of real estate there. While nearer the back, Shane van Gisbergen in the Manor is 21st ahead of Felipe Nasser, Brendan Harley, Marcus Ericsson, Mitch Evans and Oliver Rowland starting from the back of the grid today, having picked up a penalty last time out in Indianapolis for causing damage to the BAR of Nicholas Latifi. Well, if the League 2 race was anything to go by, we should be set for another thrilling race today here in Zolder. I can't wait to get this one started. I'm sure everyone at home is looking forward to this one as well. So we're going to head straight back over to Tom Cairns, waiting to count down to lights out.
Earl Bamber on pole for the first time in his career. The championship leader looking to lead the way into turn number 1 ahead of his Leighton House teammate Joseph Newgarden. 1 light is on now. 2, 3, 4 and 5. Lights are on. Lights off in Zolder for the last time today. Earl Bamber getting off to a very, very good start ahead of Joseph Newgarden, cutting across on him. We've got Scott Dixon coming through in the Minardi in 3rd place. And we are looking at Felix Rosenqvist, who has lost his rear wing at the start. How has he managed to do that? We are looking back on the replay, and Felix Rosenqvist got hit from behind. I think that might have been, was it Jean-Eric Verne that ran into him? I think it was. So Verne in the wars there with Felix Rosenqvist. Yeah, it looks very much in Verne's court there. And that is the Arrows' rear wing gone. And I'd imagine Verne will pick up a penalty for that. Felix Rosenqvist down the order. So the field trying to get through ahead of him. This is the trouble when you're at the front and you lose a rear wing like that. It's a 30-second time penalty for Jean-Eric Verne and a back of the grid drop for the next race at Montjuic Park in Spain. Scott McLaughlin looking to make his way through on Jean-Eric Verne, but he doesn't do it into the Klein chicane. Newgarden is in front of Bamber for your information. We didn't see it, but he is in front of him now. We are looking at further back in the field there. There is Antonio Felix da Costa, who's behind his Force India teammates. That would be Rafael Marciello, who's got through on the Onyx ahead of him. And now we're looking at Oliver Rowland in the other Arrows, who's starting at the back of the grid today after his shenanigans with Nicholas Latifi in the last race at Indianapolis. So it's not a good start for Arrows by any means. One at the back, and one will be joining at the back once he comes in for a new rear wing. Of all team managers at Arrows, it's Topher Smith. He won't be too pleased with me with what happened with Jean-Luc Verne either. But there's the two Leighton House drivers in first and second places, but it's Newgarden, the race winner, Indianapolis, ahead of Earl Bamber. Third is Scott Dixon, who's got Nicholas Latifi for company. Latifi fancies his chances by going for it into the Klein chicane ahead of the Minardi. Latifi through ahead of Scott Dixon. Rosenqvist in the pits for a new rear wing, and his chances of points are pretty much dashed. Scott Dixon in fourth place ahead of Sebastian Buemi. Scott McLaughlin ahead of Jean-Luc Verne now for sixth place. Further back we're looking at Felipe Nasr, who I think got a nudge from behind by Marcus Armstrong. Now, has Nasr's rear wing gone? Because Ericsson got through quite easily there, and he has taken off the rear wing, so the two teammates at Fonmetal have run into each other. Nasr's rear wing has gone, and that is not going to please team manager Ewan Gale by any stretch of the imagination. Nasr isn't out of the race, but his teammate Marcus Ericsson has been given a 30-second time penalty and a back of the grid drop for the next round in Montcuet Park. New fast lap posted by Joseph Newgarden in the Leighton House. He's looking to pull away at the front. Old Bamber running in P2. It's looking good for Chris Cavani's team. Nicholas Latifi running in third place. His teammate Matt Viragunathan is in the points in 10th, behind Sebastian Bourdais in the Minardi. And Nasr makes his way back into the pit lane. So we look at Romain Grosjean, back after a one-race ban. Took out Felix Rosenqvist in Argentina. And he sat out the last race to allow Danica Fiat to be in the car. And we look at Newgarden, who is ahead of Bamber. Latifi, who's made a cracking start, up from 4th to 3rd place now. And Verne is in 7th place, Buemi up to 5th as well. Verne's race is already compromised after picking up the penalty for the collision with Felix Rosenqvist. New fast lap posted by Nicholas Latifi in the BAR, who is going after the two Leighton Houses. See Mick Schumacher behind Pietro Fittipaldi, who's in the Pacific. And ahead of Fittipaldi is the man who's recently been announced as a Haas Formula 1 driver for 2025. Looking at March, but we're seeing a few more overtakes happening. Alexander Sims getting through on Matt Viragunathan. I think Kobayashi, is it Kobayashi in front of Bourdais, or was Bourdais ahead of, or behind Kobayashi anyway, not 100% sure. We've seen a lot of overtakes happening. But there is Newgarden in first place, and Ollie Rowland, after having to come in for a new rear wing, has pulled to the side, and his race is over. In fact, Rowland wasn't even in the pits earlier on. That was Felix Rosenqvist. So Ollie Rowland was not involved in any shenanigans. I beg your pardon. Arrows' race has gone up in smoke effectively. Surely there is no way that Felix Rosenqvist is going to get back into this and get any points from it now. Horrible race so far for Topher Smith's team. And we've got Mitch Evans in the pits with a problem in the manor. Don't know what's happened to him. And we are seeing Master Lola making his way through that. Oh, that's Sean Gunan, who's been taken out, and his race is run. Who was it that ran into him? I think it was a Force India that ran into him. It was Antonio Felix da Costa that ran... No, it was Rafael Marcello. I think it was Marcello that ran into... Or was it da Costa? No, I was right first time. It was da Costa that ran into Sean Gunan. And I think da Costa is going to pick up a race ban for taking out the Onyx. Gunan out of the race for the first time in his Grand Prix World Series career. Da Costa will be hit with a race ban and a disqualification from this race. Not good news for Ed Spencer's team. Da Costa hasn't quite cemented the form of which he had with Minardi last season. He's having a tough time of it so far. Just waiting confirmation from race control what the decision will be. And it's a one race ban and disqualification from this race for Antonio Felix da Costa. I don't think he can have any complaints. Team manager Ed Spencer of the Force India team does have the right to appeal that. I think it's going to be hard for Ed to have a leg to stand on the incident. 2 drivers out of the race, plus the driver who will be excluded from the race result. There is Rafael Marcello, who goes in front of Pietro Fittipaldi into 15th place. He gets through, no problem. Newgarden continuing to lead, but only a second clear of his teammate. Not too far behind them is Nicholas Latifi, who's gunning for another strong result. Matt Viragonathan got the team's first podium of the season at Indianapolis. Sebastian Buemi is 5th behind Scott Dixon, the championship leader, or was the championship leader before Indianapolis. Earl Bamber is currently the championship leader in League One. The gap is very, very close. After 3 races, Earl Bamber, who's yet to take a race win, leads on 33 points. Scott Dixon and Felix Rosenqvist tie on 30 for second. It's Joseph Newgarden 4th with 25, who's also tied with Sebastian Buemi. I mean, any of the top 16 drivers in the championship could mathematically walk away with the championship lead. Looking at Marcus Ericsson, who's behind Brendan Hartley in the battle for 19th. On lap number 8, it's Leighton-House 1 and 2 still, leading the team's championship by 17 points over second place Prost. Arrows are third with 40. It's unlikely they'll be adding to their total. It really is falling into place for Leighton-House at the moment. The teams in the bottom 3 are Von Mattel, HRT and Marscar Lola. The bottom 3 teams will go down to League 2 next season. It's still relatively close, but they don't want to fall too far away from the rest. Kobayashi running in 8th place ahead of Sebastian Bourdais. Kobayashi's behind Jean-Luc Verne, who is carrying that 30-second time penalty. It's unlikely that Verne is going to be scoring any points today. .2 seconds is the margin between Newgarden and Bamber. Verne and Kobayashi nose to tail, less than a second adrift. So the top two in your picture, as well as Latifi. Thanks to Raghunathan's podium and Latifi's 7th place finish, they are now 7th in the team's championship on 24 points. You can just see the leaders there approaching the, what I believe is the Fonmetal of Felipe Nasr. Behind Latifi are Dixon, Buemi and McLaughlin. 2 HRTs in the top 10. As far as Moscot Lola are concerned. Oh, and I say that Pacific are in trouble here because Fittipaldi was carrying a problem, but he's been able to get back to the pit lane. So he's still in the race, is Fittipaldi. At least he only picked up the problem just before pit entry, so he's not lost too much time. And I think he was expected to make a one-stop strategy in this race as well, judging by his fuel gauge. That could have paid off handsomely for him later, but it's a totally different strategy for him now. He will have to pit again before this race is over. So we've got Lanehouse 1 and 2. We've got Latifi and the BIR in 3rd place. Scott Dixon, who for once has not been the quickest driver so far this season. He qualified on pole. Oh, and to say that, Nasr has gone off the circuit and he's wrecked his front wing. Now, Fittipaldi just came out of the pit lane and Fittipaldi didn't do anything wrong there. It was just Nasr not paying attention to his own driving. He concentrated more on the Pacific and just went in too deep into turn 2 and broke his front wing. And his race has gone from bad to worse there. And after only 10 laps, he's going to be in the pits twice for repairs. And that's not good for him or for the team. Earl Bumber in 2nd place behind Joseph Newgarden. Felipe Nasr will be back in the pits. You can see the field going by him, and he's down a lap now. Is Nasr, so all he'll have to hope for is many drivers to pull out of this to even have a chance of getting back into the points. I mean, the only consolation for him is that Ericsson and Verne are carrying time penalties. Verne will fall out of the points with his time penalty. Bamber behind Newgarden, and Dixon is out! Yet again, more reliability issues hitting the Minardi team. And if Dixon is going to retain his championship title, he cannot keep having problems like this. From 4th position on lap number 12, Dixon is gone from this race. That makes Latenhouse's race even easier. So Sebastian Buemi goes up to 4th place. McLaughlin now 5th. Fern 6th on the road. Kobayashi, Bourdais, Sims and Ragunathan in the top 10. See the top 3 still nose to tail. Newgarden, Bamber, Latifi right there. I don't know which of them are going to be doing the 1 stop and which are doing the 2. McLaughlin still going after Buemi. Buemi can't do much about the top 3 at the moment, but I don't know whether Buemi's on the same strategy as they are. But looking at the pace at Leighthouses and what Latifi has done so far, compared to what maybe Buemi and McLaughlin are doing, it may become apparent later on. Roman Grosjean is 11th in the MasterCard Lola. Then it's Ollie Behrman for Simtek in 12th. Mick Schumacher in the other MasterCard Lola is 13th. Rafael Marcello is 14th ahead of Antonio Felix da Costa. He'll be excluded from the race result and banned for the next round in Montjuic Park for taking out Jules Gounon. Jules Gounon. Not Jules Gounon, I was going to say Antonio Felix da Costa in terms of who the reserve at Force India is. That would be Jack Aiken. He'll be the one standing in for da Costa at Montjuic Park in a couple of weeks. There's Bamber running in 2nd place behind Joseph Newgarden. We've got Nico Latifi in 3rd, Sebastian Buemi 6 seconds behind. If the positions were to remain like this, it's very much early days, but Leightonhouse are going to have an enormous lead in the championship. There's no doubt about that. We're on 58 points coming into this one. Bamber got the point for fastest, also for pole position. One course to get 44 points as it stands, which will move them on to 102. And Buemi get 12 championship points, which will move Prost on to 53, with Verne dropping out of the points with his time penalty. Arrows are not really going to be scoring. Minardi could still at the moment with Bourdais in 8th. Will move level on points with Arrows and will be ahead on countback. Although BAR with Latifi in 3rd place and McGunnifan in 10th, that would give them 16 points plus the 1 for fastest lap. They'll go on to 40 points and be tied on points with Arrows and Minardi. So it's hotting up, but Leightonhouse are pulling away further and further clear in the championship. They clinched the League 2 Drivers and Teams Championships in Season 2. Are they going to repeat it in League 1 this time around? The team manager of the squad, Chris Cavani, certainly hopes so. And there is Nazar behind Ericsson, but Ericsson is a lap ahead of his teammate. I think Nazar will want some of his own back after what Ericsson did to him earlier on. 17. So this should be the lap where we start to see the two stoppers come in. Bamber, second. As it stands with the Drivers' Championship as it is, Earl Bamber will still lead the Drivers' Championship. Dixon and Rosenqvist are not going to be scoring. Newgarden will go up into second place. And Buemi. Oh, there's an engine problem. And it's Nicholas Latifi. I was going to talk about him in the championship standings, but I don't need to now. His engine has gone up in smoke, and he's not going to be finishing this one. That's such a shame because he was doing so well up until this point. So he's another one of those from the front to retire. And that'll allow Sebastian Buemi to go through into third place. Latifi is not getting off the circuit just yet. And Rafael Marciello is the first driver to come in for a scheduled stop now. He pulls off the track into the gravel at the Klein chicane, and he's the fourth driver to retire. Not good news for Will Knight. The TV gave it a good go. He's still got the point for fastest lap as we speak. Now we look at Felipe Nasr, who's going to unlap himself from Marcus Ericsson. I personally don't blame him getting the job done there. He's still on Ericsson, but he's got a lot of ground to make up. See Ericsson trying to make his way back through there, but they're almost tripping over each other as DaCosta rips off his front wing in the Force India. Bamber comes into the pits for his first scheduled stop of the race, but DaCosta launching over the curb there and ripping off his front wing. Schumacher almost running wide as well. Grosjean in the pits in the Mastercard Lola. DaCosta will be in the pits because he ripped off his front wing. It's hardly relevant anyway because he'll be excluded from the race result for taking out Shaul Gounon. So DaCosta comes in. McLaughlin goes up into third place in the HRT. Bamber rejoins in 12th place behind Liam Lawson. Now, can Bamber complete an undercut on Newgarden? What does Newgarden decide to do here? I think he carried on for another lap. Or has he come into the pits? No, he's carried on for another lap as Newgarden. You can just see Nasr. I think he's been lapped again by Ericsson, and that he's got for company there. It looks like a Pacific he's got behind. It might be Pietro Fittipaldi. As we watch Sebastian Buemi in second place, gunning for another podium. And Mick Schumacher's come into the pits in the Master Lola. Buemi continues on in the Prost. McLaughlin in the HRT. They'll go out of the bottom three as it stands with where they are. The pit stops have only just begun though, so don't expect them to stay there. McLaughlin third and Sims seventh. Bamber in P11 behind Liam Lawson. McLaughlin comes in from third place now. And Mick Schumacher, after his stop, is going to be pulling out. And looks like a front left suspension failure for him. Just seen Bourdais and Kobayashi come in as well. Suspension problems for the German. Mick Schumacher retires from the race. Ian Lawson comes in, as does Marcus Ericsson. It's a very busy pit lane right now. At the end of lap number 20. Continuing on. McLaughlin, after his pit stop, is down in 10th place now. Newgarden comes in for his first stop. He's got a Mano in front of him, which I believe is Mitch Evans. Now, what does Buemi decide to do? Does he carry on for another lap, or does he go into the pits as well as Newgarden? He's come into the pits. Verne carries on for now. He will take over the race lead. Behind Verne will be Alexander Sims, who's just come into the pits actually. So in second place will be Matt Viragunathan in the sole surviving BAR. Behind Sims, we've got Ollie Behrman, who's coming in the Simtech. And then we've got Brendan Hartley, Shane Van Gisbergen in the Manor, and then it's Scott McLaughlin. Has McLaughlin done enough to get in front of Buemi? Because he was only just behind him before the pit stops had begun. Buemi stayed out a lot longer than McLaughlin. Buemi is behind Brendan Hartley, but he's ahead of Van Gisbergen. We could make a move on him very shortly. We've just seen Leighton House putting a lap on Mitch Evans there. That must be Earl Bamber, and I think he's going in front of Newgarden. He has done. Bamber back ahead of Newgarden then. Into the race lead effectively. Verne continuing on, as does Matt Viragunathan, and we are looking at Shane Van Gisbergen. He's got Scott McLaughlin for company. And Felix Rosenfist is going to end Araz's torrid day on the sidelines. He's only just been in the pits as well. But it's going to be Newport for the squad. After a positive start to the season, it's beginning to crumble for them here. He is gone from this race. McLaughlin did get in front of Shane Van Gisbergen and is still behind Sebastian Buemi, who's trying to get through on Brendan Hartley for 5th place. Here he is, look, going for it. On the inside into the Klein chicane. And that move was going to happen all day long, wasn't it? Verne leads. Viragunathan second. It's Earl Bamber, Joseph Newgarden, Sebastian Buemi, who's in 5th place. Alexander Sims is P11 behind Sebastian Bourdais. We've got Roman Grosjean, Ollie Behrman, Rafael Marcello, and Pietro Fittipaldi in the top 15 places. Now McLaughlin going for it on Hartley into turn number 1. And that's the overtake completed for the HRT pilot. Hartley and Van Gisbergen look like they're going to be doing the one stop in this one, in this League One Zolder Grand Prix. Verne is continuing. It's only 5.6 seconds clear over Matt Viragunathan. Don't know what lap for certain that Verne's going to come in, but it's going to be around about half race distance. If he was to pit now, he would fall behind Kamui Kobayashi. probably Sebastian Bourdais as well. But they'll be due in the pits again before this race is over. Verne won't need to pit again once his only stop has been completed. Running in P2. All hopes from BIR carry on him. And Da Costa, who's really struggling at the moment, has been going offline for some reason. Has he picked up an issue? Because it looks like he has. He cuts across on the Onyx of Liam Lawson. I don't know what exactly Da Costa is playing at. Oh, he very nearly took him out there, did Da Costa. He's already got the one race ban. He does not want to get another one here. He runs wide. It's been a race to forget for the Portuguese. So far, so good for Leightonhouse. Although Matvey Ragunathan may have a say on it. We saw that two-stop strategy worked for the likes of Jake Dennis and co in the League 2 event. We just saw Sebastian Buemi put a lap, I believe, on Felipe Nasr. Kobayashi is through on Van Gisbergen for 8th place. Behind Van Gisbergen is Sebastian Bourdais. The only Minardi left in the race now. Marcello, a little too deep into turn 1, but gets away with it. Just see Newgarden get in front of Earl Bamber now. Has something happened to Bamber because he's dropped back so much from Newgarden? I think he might be carrying an issue. We'll wait to see. And yes, he has picked up an issue. Earl Bamber has caught fire. He comes into the pits almost. Oh, he just hit the wall actually as he came in. Oil leak it is for the New Zealander. It's race over for Earl Bamber here in Zolder. No points for him. It's unlikely he'll stay in the championship lead. Brendan Hartley and Shane Van Gisbergen both come into the pits. That's made Joseph Newgarden's race easier now. I mean, goodness knows what can happen from here. As Verne's in the lead, he's got that 30-second time penalty. He's coming into the pits now for his only stop. What does Ragunathan decide to do? Does he carry on for another lap? He does, you know. He carries on for another lap. Ragunathan goes through. Newgarden will go through. Verne will rejoin round about where Bourdais and Sims are. Newgarden running in P2. As Nasr pits in. It's his third stop of the race for Felipe Nasr. Verne will get out behind Alexander Sims, who should stay in front of Berman. Fittipaldi coming in for Pacific. Look at Sebastian Buemi in third place now in the Prost. Will Ragunathan decide to pit in at the end of this lap? think he's carried on for another lap, has he? No, he's in. Regunathan is in, and that allows Newgarden to take back the race lead. A chance to make it 2 in a row for the American. You just see Fittipaldi come out of the pits. It won't be too long before Newgarden gets on his tail. Buemi. So over 10 seconds behind Newgarden when he crossed over the line. McLaughlin is in 3rd place now in the HRT, ahead of Kobayashi and Bourdais. Verne is back ahead of Regunathan. I think Regunathan is going to rejoin behind Behrman and Grosjean very shortly. So it's not quite played out as well as he had hoped for. But Regunathan is in contention for a podium finish here. Sebastian Buemi, 2nd place now. Prost are aiming to bounce back after a pointless score in Indianapolis. McLaughlin aiming for his first podium in the Grand Prix Series. It'll be the first podium of the season for HRT as well. One team have had a better race of it today are Simtek, Kobayashi 4th and Behrman in 8th. There is McLaughlin. Behind McLaughlin are Kobayashi in the Simtek, Bourdais in the Minardi. Then it's Sims in the 2nd HRT in 6th. Verne 7th. Behrman, Regunathan and Grosjean inside the points. Verne's time penalty would drop him to he'll drop him to 13th because Ericsson has a penalty as well. Make that 12th actually because Da Costa is carrying a disqualification. But Verne is trying the one-stop strategy. He's coming up to the tail of Alexander Sims. Newgarden in the sole surviving Leighton House. They do not want any more mechanical issues. Into the second half of the race, Buemi in 2nd place, just behind the manor there of Mitch Evans, who's a lap down. Jean-Luc Verne is 9/10 behind Sims, so I don't think it'll be too long before he goes for an overtake on him, although he may not actually need to do that. And we are seeing Fittipaldi and Newgarden taking an odd line through the corners. I don't know what's going on with him. And he's making the corner there. Newgarden is all over the place at the moment. And it looks like he's encountered a... Oh, he's run wide! He's broken his front wing and Newgarden's off! He's carried a problem, there's Newgarden. The front wing has been ripped off and the race lead is gone for Leighton House. Got his line all wrong. It must have been some sort of issue that's contributed to that. And Newgarden has thrown it all away, and into the lead goes Sebastian Buemi in the Prost. Disaster for team manager Chris Cavaney. Buemi leads, McLaughlin 2nd, and it's Kobayashi, Bourdais and Sims. And Newgarden hasn't got going yet. He gets the car spun round. We'll need to make sure he does this safely. He's down to 16th, and he'll need to come back to the pit lane for a new front wing. And that's his race effectively done as well. There's no way he'll come back from this. So the top three at the front earlier have all encountered problems. Scott Dixon already out. Felix Rosenqvist already out as well. So as it stands, with Buemi in the lead, if he was to win the race, he'll lead the championship. Into second place. With the positions as they are, it could be Ollie Berman. What a disappointing way to lose it there from Joseph Newgarden. He was going all offline. And then went into turn one rather erratically. And he just broke the front wing as he hit the curbs. Newgarden makes it back to the pit lane, but he is now a lap down. Buemi in P1, trying to put a lap on Mitch Evans. Scott McLaughlin in P2. What a result this would be for him. Sims in 5th place. If HRT was to get the whole of points here, it would push Pacific into the drop zone. With Moscolelli bagging a couple of points with Roman Grosjean in 9th, they would stay bottom. This Grosjean will be getting more than bargaining for. Although with Vern's time penalty, Grosjean would move up another position. So Grosjean would get 4 points, but Moscolelli would still stay bottom. Sebastian Buemi in the race lead by over 3 seconds from Scott McLaughlin. Not putting a foot wrong so far, but it can all change. Now Vern is still stuck behind Sims. But Sims is due into the pits again. So Buemi has trouble trying to lap Mitch Evans. And this is encouraging McLaughlin to close in behind. It was 3.1 seconds. The gap is now 2.4. And there's an engine problem for Joseph Newgarden, who's just been for his front wing replacement, and Chris Cavanagh's day is complete. After the double podium in Indianapolis, it's all come back down to earth for them here in Europe. Newgarden retires from the race. He joins his teammate on the sidelines. Unless he was able to get back to the pit lane. He doesn't do so, and so he has gone from this race. What a nightmare for the team. After a front row lockout, the only point they're going to get is old Bamber for the pole position. Kamui Kobayashi in 3rd place ahead of Sebastian Bourdais. And Scott McLaughlin in 2nd. As Buemi is still stuck behind Mitch Evans. He's been stuck behind him for a couple of laps at least. I think he's going to get through on him now, although Evans isn't exactly making it easy for him. And Buemi is getting rather agitated here as he goes through now. 8 drivers out of the race. Joseph Newgarden, Earl Bamber, Felix Rosenqvist, Mick Schumacher, Nicholas Latifi, Scott Dixon, Jules Gounon and Oliver Rowland all out of the race. Antonio Fitzicosta, who's running in 12th, will be excluded for taking out Jules Gounon at the Klein chicane. Marcus Ericsson and Jean-Luc Vergne have 30-second time penalties for running into other drivers in the early stages of the race, but didn't cause them to retire. Vergne, as it stands, will drop to 11th. Ericsson will drop down pretty much to last place in 16th position. I'll say down to last place, it'll be 16th because there's 18 cars left in this one. Buemi did get through on Evans eventually, but McLaughlin has closed up on him. We're not too far away from the last round of stops now. But once Buemi, McLaughlin, Kobayashi, Bourdais and Sims head for the pits, Vergne and McGunnifan will take over first and second places. It's been a brilliant race so far. I can tell you, the top 5 on the grid are all out of the race. Kobayashi, the highest driver on the grid, still in the race, is running in P3. There's Buemi in P1. Ahead of McLaughlin. He's heading for the pits now, is the Swiss. He had a couple of laps left on his fuel gauge. Did the Prost. Kobayashi is also heading for the pits. McLaughlin is as well. What about Bourdais? Is he going in? He is. Sims stays out. So he takes over the lead for now. McGunnifan will go up into 4th place behind Behrman, who's also staying out. Marcello goes up to 6th behind Grosjean. And Lawson up to P7. And Brendan Hartley locks up into the Jackie X chicane, but gets away with it. Costa in the pits for Force India. It's hardly relevant as to where he's going to be finishing. You see Behrman in 3rd place behind Vergne. Going after him. Sims is getting the hammer down. He's looking very, very, very good. Behrman comes into the pits, as does race leader Alexander Sims. So Vergne and McGunnifan go up into 1st and 2nd places. There is a chance that Matvey Raghunathan can win his first Grand Prix World Series race. Grosjean stays out, as does Marcello. I think those two might be on the one-stop strategy. Lawson also stays out. Buemi, the highest of those have just pitted, is running in P6. He'll clear Lawson, no problem. It's just whether he'll get onto the back of Vergne, Raghunathan, Grosjean and Marcello. That's going to be a tough ask. lead. He's only 4 seconds clear over Regunathan. The gap is reduced from what it was earlier when those two were leading the front after the front runners were making the first of 2 stops. To Costa gain up the inside of Pietro Fittipaldi for 15th place on track. Grosjean in 3rd place ahead of Marcello. Although, as he encountered a problem, it looks like he went wide there, did Grosjean, into turn 2. We'll find out in a moment what is going on. I think he's alright, is Grosjean. Looks like he'd gone wide for a moment, but I think he was just making the corner anyway. What a result this would be for Marco Lola, though, if he were to get a podium finish out of this. Not just that, but also getting 2nd place, because Verne will not be taking the victory. As it stands, he'll be dropping to 9th behind what is now Marcus Ericsson, although Ericsson does have a penalty of his own, so it'll be 8th place where Verne will end up. It's a huge jump from the race win down to there. Team managers do have the right to appeal any penalty if they so wish. Grosjean comes in from 3rd place though. What about Marcello? Does he stay out or does he carry on? I think he's come into the pits as well. He has done. That allows Liam Lawson to go through unless he decides to pit in. No, he's in, is Lawson. That allows Buemi to go back into 3rd place then. Going after Regunathan, but he's got 14 seconds to make up on the Indian. McLaughlin goes through into 4th, Kobayashi to 5th, and it's Bourdais into 6th. So as it stands with the time penalty, Verne will drop to 6th place. Sims now 7th in the HRT. Berman will be 8th. In 9th and 10th places will be Brendan Hartley and Shane van Gisbergen. Right on board with Sebastian Buemi. 17 laps to go. Can he make up all the ground on Matej Regunathan? Mitch Evans coming into the pits. There's no chance of points for him today. Van Gisbergen will do well to keep hold of the last point, but it's unlikely he'll do so. Now, the fact that Verne is leading, Buemi will want Verne to hold up Regunathan to aid his chances. The gap between Buemi and Regunathan has come down to 12.4 seconds. Just under that. And there are 16 laps to go. So Buemi's going to catch Regunathan. Oh, he needs to take about at least 3/4 of a second out of the margin every lap on average. And that's going to be very tough. He's got all the clear track ahead of him that he needs, though. Regunathan is on older tyres to Buemi. And the gap in Sector 2, what's that now? We'll see when Buemi goes through the sector. The gap is 11.4. Grosjean getting through on Van Gisbergen into 10th place now. Verne crossing the line, still in the lead. Buemi behind behind Regunathan. The gap has come down to 11.2 seconds. Buemi was able to take 1.2 seconds out of Regunathan on the last lap. There is Regunathan in the BAR. Doesn't need to do anything about Verne, but he needs to just keep his head down. Because there's no question that Buemi will be on the tail of him by the time this race is over, if not ahead of him. The gap has come down to 10.8 seconds. Buemi has taken 4 tenths out of Regunathan in the first sector alone. There's Verne coming through the Jochen Rindt chicane. There is Here's Marciello, who's going for it on Van Gisbergen for P11. And he's through. Now Vern's time penalty will drop into P7. He'll want to try and get the hammer down and see if he can avoid falling down that far. Vern doing a cracking job. 3.1 seconds clear over Regunathan. Buemi's gap behind Regunathan. We didn't see the gap at the end of the last lap, but we'll have a look to see where it's at now in sector 1 on this lap. The gap is 10.1 seconds. Buemi is flying at the moment with 14 laps left. Can he make the two-stop strategy work? Will the fresher tyres have a deciding factor on where the race win goes? Roman Grosjean continuing his charge by getting through on Brendan Hartley to go back up into 9th position. Excellent overtake there from Grosjean. 2 points coming in the way for Mascot Lola. The gap between Regunathan and Buemi. And Buemi is getting the gap down. It's now 9.7 seconds. Catching is one thing, passing is quite another in the Grand Prix World Series. Buemi knows that. He's doing his best to get the hammer down to go after Matthew Regunathan. Now Buemi does not need to pass Vern on the road because Vern does have that penalty, although it may get appealed later. The gap in sector 1 is now 9.4 seconds. Buemi was able to take 3/10 out on Regunathan in the first sector alone. How does he get on in sector 2? The gap is now 9.2 by the looks of it. So it was only 2/10 in sector 2. "12 laps remaining. What's the gap now between Regunathan and Buemi? The gap is now, by the looks of it, 9.1. So only 6/10 taken out of Regunathan on that last lap for Buemi. But if Regunathan gets held up by Vern, that will only aid the Swiss running in P3 on the road. Jean-Luc Vern, as it stands, will drop to 7th place with the 30-second time penalty for running into Felix Rosenqvist at the start of the race. Right on board with Ollie Berman, who's behind. Well, he's just putting a lap actually on Felipe Nasser, who's had a race to forget. Buemi in P3. What's the gap now coming over the line? It was 9.2 at the end, or 9.1 at the end of the last lap. The gap is, by the looks of it, 8.3 seconds, 8.4 nearly. I think it's like 7/10 at least on that last lap for Buemi. I don't think he's doing enough at the moment. So Buemi needs to keep trying, as we see Marcello get through on Brendan Hartley now to go up into the points in 10th. Buemi in P3, still going after Regunathan, who is closing in gradually on Vern. Very interesting battle is boiling here. The gap between Regunathan and Buemi's come down to 8.1 seconds in sector 2. is the gap going to be? It needs to be under 8 seconds for Buemi at this point now by the end of the lap. We'll see what it is. And the answer is 8 seconds. And with 10 laps to go, Buemi needs to... Oh, he's got to take 8 tenths. He's got to take 8 tenths of a second on average out of every lap on Ragunathan is to have any chance of winning this race. McLaughlin still holding 4th in the HRT ahead of Kamui Kobayashi. Sebastian Bourdais is 6th for Minardi ahead of Alexander Sims, Ollie Behrman, Roman Grosjean and Rafael Marcello running out the top 10 as we speak. Ragunathan in 2nd place right now. 2nd in Indianapolis for him. But Fern taking the race win on the road will not take the race win overall once his penalty has been applied. There's 8 seconds between Ragunathan and Buemi at the end of the last lap. What's the gap now? It is currently 7.5 seconds, only 5 tenths on that last lap for Buemi. He's not doing enough at the moment. I wonder if his tyres are starting to fall away as he's been catching Matthew Ragunathan. The next thing that could get in the way are back markers. Fittipaldi's well clear of Vern. Don't know whereabouts Mitch Evans is. I think Felipe Nasr is out of the way of these lot. No, I don't think we're going to see any more back markers getting in the way. So Buemi needs to get the hammer down here if he is to have any chance of taking the win away from Matthew Ragunathan. 7.5 seconds at the end of lap 49. What is the end of lap 50 going to show? It's got to be under 7 seconds. It's 7.1. It's only 4 tenths on that lap. Van Gisbergen has got Liam Lawson for company. Vern continuing to pull away, but it'll count for nothing in terms of the win. But what he can do is hold Ragunathan up for Buemi to close in. Seven seconds is the margin at the moment. I think the battle between Buemi and Ragunathan is as good as done, unless Ragunathan makes a mistake somewhere. He crosses over the line. Buemi has got to stay in touch with him. And the gap is what looks like 6.9 seconds, only 2 tenths. There's no way Buemi's catching Ragunathan now, I don't think. Not long to go left in the race. What a result this is going to be for HRT. McLaughlin in 4th and Sims in 7th. That'll give them 18 championship points. They'll move out of the bottom 3 and Pacific will be pushed into it. Marscalela on course for a couple of points as well. Grosjean in 9th, who's chasing after Ollie Behrman. In P3, running out of time. 2nd place will still be a good result for him. As it stands with the points being given out to the teams, Prost will move back into the team's championship ahead of Leighton House, and Buemi will lead the Drivers' Championship again. It was 1st and 4th in Brazil for Prost a few races ago. Today at the moment it's going to be 2nd and 7th. There's Ringham. Gap between him and Buemi in sector 1 on this lap is just under 6.7 seconds. I think Verne has got to do what he can to hold Ringham up. But he isn't doing that right now. I think Verne wants to build up as much of a margin as possible to minimise the penalty, but it's not helping Buemi. Five to go. Verne continuing to lead out in front. Murphy Ringham is second. I'm looking at Liam Lawson, who's running in 13th. Onyx are not going to be coming away with any points, and neither are Manor, who have struggled so far this season. And I think it's a massive disappointment for Sam Hall's team. They have put a lot of their budget into reliability, but it's not quite paid off for them so far. For Prost, it's been a brilliant season for them, and it's about to get even better. But it's also about to get even better for BAR. And I can tell you that Sebastian Bourdais is dropping out from 6th position, and Minardi are not going to leave Zolder with any points at all. It is game over for team manager Giacomo Bagliaro. And it's good news for Jean-Luc Verne, because with the time penalty, he'll now only drop to P6. Brendan Hartley going back up into the points in the Pacific. That'll be important. Jean-Luc Verne, 4 laps away from taking the checker flag first. The gap between McGunnifan and Buemi is 6.2 seconds. I'm looking on the timing tower. Now, Verne is 29.1 seconds clear of 6th place Alex Anderson, so if he can stretch it out by another 9/10, he'll only drop to 5th. Meanwhile, Ringham feels that he may want to pass him just to make sure in case of any appeal by the Prost team manager after the race. Gunnavan in second ahead of Buemi. McLaughlin looking good for a podium finish as it stands. We look at Marciello, who's also going to be out. He's just been overtaken by Grosjean, and Force India are not going to be coming away with any points either. Marciello out just before the end. It's bitterly disappointing for the team and for team manager Ed Spencer. Another driver goes from this one. Right on board with Verne. He's carrying on his way. His last win came with BAR at the end of Season 1 when he was crowned champion. He's not going to be celebrating victory today. It shows signs of where Prost are at with their reliability and engine power. They've been superb this season so far. Buemi's still catching McGunnifan, but it's too little too late, I think. We are seeing a battle for the final point now between Shane van Gisbergen and Liam Lawson. Behind them is Antonio Felix da Costa. He'll be disqualified from the race for taking out Liam Lawson's Onyx teammate, Jules Gounon, at the Klein chicane. At least that will promote Mitch Evans up a position. I think Marcus Ericsson, even with the time penalty, he would still keep hold of what will be 13th position. We are now on the penultimate lap of the race. Verne continuing to lead. Maverick Gunnavan is second. BAR are on their knees at the moment, just praying that nothing happens to the Indian driver. Second in Indianapolis. And we are about to see something that we never thought would be seeing in the Grand Prix World Series. A driver who has had a lot of heartache throughout his career in real life. In the Grand Prix World Series, a totally different ball game. He came in to the team, got his head down, got stuck in with the front runners, and is about to be rewarded with a race win. And BAR's first since Sebastian Buemi took victory for them at the Imola Grand Prix in Season 2. There is Verne on his final lap. Close to the end now. Gunnavan's got the gap down to 2.4. Buemi 5.5 seconds behind. Verne will drop to 6th with his time penalty. That is subject to appeal. But for now, we will turn to Matt Gunnavan. And BAR are about to take a phenomenal victory. Jonathan Verne coming round the Jackie Each chicane for the last time. He'll take the checker flag first. But it's Matthew Gunnavan for BAR who wins the League One Zolder Grand Prix. What a phenomenal result for team manager Will Knight. The faith in their Indian driver has paid off. Matthew Gunnavan is the Grand Prix World Series race winner. Sebastian Buemi for Prost in second place, and it's a first time podium for Scott McLaughlin and HRT. Kamui Kobayashi will be fourth, ahead of Alexander Sims, who crossed over the line and is promoted to fifth. And Ollie Berman is out on the last lap. He was running in 8th, or was he 7th? I think he was running in 7th place, and he's out. And he's not going to be getting any points. Verne will be 7th for his time penalty. Then it'll be Grosjean 8th. No, Verne will be 6th. Grosjean 7th. Hartley 8th. Van Gisbergen 9th. And Liam Lawson will pick up the last point in 10th place. Da Costa, with his disqualification, promotes Pietro Fittipaldi and Marcus Ericsson. Even with the time penalty, Ericsson will remain in 13th place. Berman drops to 14th. But it's a race win for Matthew Gunnavan in the BAR. Sebastian Buemi second, ahead of Scott McLaughlin in the HRT in third place. Kamui Kobayashi fourth. Alexander Sims will be fifth. What a day for HRT. Jonathan Verne dropping to 6th through his time penalty. Then it's Romain Grosjean 7th. Brendan Hartley 8th. Shane Van Gisbergen 9th. And Liam Lawson bagging the last point for Onyx in 10th place. Pietro Fittipaldi 11th for Pacific, ahead of Marcus Ericsson, who is promoted to 12th. And it's Ollie Berman 13th, Mitch Evans, and Felipe Nasser were the last to take the checker flag. Rafael Marcello and Sebastian Bourdais were classified but didn't make it to the end. Joseph Newgarden retiring with engine problems. Olbamba also out, no points for Leighton today. Felix Rosenqvist also retired along with Mick Schumacher, Nicholas Latifi, Scott Dixon, Jules Gounon, Oliver Irland, and Antonio Felix da Costa disqualified after taking out Jules Gounon in the early stages. Earl Bamber gets the point for pole position, and the fast lap going to Nicholas Latifi in the BAR. What a day for BAR though. Their first win for 2 seasons, this time in the hands of Matthew Gunnavan. With that result, he elevates himself up the order in the championship. And according to my maths, he is now tied at the top with Sebastian Buemi. Who would have thought of that after the first 4 races of the season? Prost take back the lead in the team's championship ahead of Leighton House. Let's run down on the championship standings after a remarkable day, especially for Matthew Ragunathan and for team manager of BAR, Will Knight. We'll be back for the next round at Montjuic Park in Spain in a couple of weeks' time. Topher, over to you.
Well, Jean-Eric Verne crosses the line first in Zolder, but it is Mahavir Raghunathan, of all people, who picks up his first ever Grand Prix World Series victory. A huge congratulations to him and to Will Knight's BAR team. That's their first victory for quite a long time, and I'm sure that is one that will be talked about in the paddock for a long time to come. Sebastian Buemi taking second place today means that he and Raghunathan are equal in the championship. And who would have thought that after the first 4 races that the championship fight would look this way, with Buemi and Raghunathan equal on points. But there they are on 43 points each, a win each and a second place each. There is nothing to separate them heading into the next round in Spain. Earl Bamber losing his championship lead, slipping down to third place overall, 9 points away from Buemi and Raghunathan on 34 points. Scott Dixon on 30, alongside Felix Rosenquist, also on 30. Joseph Newgarden on 25, ahead of Oliver Behrman. Jean-Eric Verne should have won today and probably would have been leading the championship had his penalty not been applied. But as it stands, he's 8th on 24 points. Scott McLaughlin 9th on 23, and Raffaele Marcello rounding out the top 10 on 15. Despite Verne's penalty, Prost still leads the way in the team's standing, 67 points for the French team, ahead of Leighton House on 59. BAR are up to third on 50 with their victory today, ahead of Arrows on 40, Simtech on 37, Minardi on 36, HRT moving up to 7th with 33 points, Force India on 29, Manor on 16, and Onyx in 10th on 15. Currently in the relegation zone for League One, Pacific Grand Prix on 13, Mars Carlola on 9 and Fomitel on 8th. However, that can all change as we go through the rest of the season. Well, this has been another fantastic event today. Zolder has truly delivered as a replacement round for the cancelled Toronto Grand Prix, and Zolder may well have cemented its place on future Grand Prix World Series calendars. We'll wait to see when Season 5 rolls around. But for now, thank you so much for tuning in. We look forward to tuning in once again when we come to the next round at Montjuic Park in Spain. Until then, I've been Topher Smith, and take care.